Achilles, the greatest warrior of the Trojan War. Part 2. The origins of the Trojan War and Achilles' entrance. The Trojan War did not arise from mere territorial disputes, but from a divine quarrel that forever altered the fate of mortals. It all began at the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, Achilles' parents, when the goddess Eris, outraged for not being invited, cast a golden apple inscribed to the fairest. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all claimed the prize, but it was Paris, Prince of Troy, who judged Aphrodite the fairest after she promised him the love of Helen, the most beautiful mortal woman. Helen, already married to Menelaus, king of Sparta, was abducted or seduced by Paris and taken to Troy, sparking outrage across Greece. Agamemnon, brother of Menelaus, led a coalition of Greek kings to retrieve her, thus igniting a war destined to last a decade. Among the Greek forces was Achilles, the son of a mortal king and a sea goddess, fated to be the greatest warrior of his generation. Though still young, Achilles joined the war driven by both honor and prophecy. His mother warned him, should he go to Troy, he would achieve eternal fame but die young. Knowing this, Achilles accepted his role, embarking on a journey that would etch his name into legend. The return of Achilles, a hero reborn. Despite his initial dominance in battle, Achilles withdrew from the conflict following a bitter dispute with Agamemnon, who arrogantly seized Briseis, Achilles' beloved war prize and secret source of emotional solace. Achilles' absence devastated the Greek forces, allowing the Trojans to push them back toward their ships. However, the death of Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, changed everything. Grief-stricken and enraged beyond measure, Achilles re-entered the war with a singular focus: vengeance against Hector, the Trojan prince who had slain Patroclus. Armed with new armor forged by the god Hephaestus himself, Achilles emerged on the battlefield like a living god, his very presence inspiring terror among his enemies. No longer restrained by his quarrel with Agamemnon or his affection for Briseis, Achilles was now a man consumed by wrath. His spear became an instrument of devastation as he cut through Trojan lines, determined to confront Hector and avenge the friend he had failed to protect. Briseis, the love and the loss. Amid the turmoil and bloodshed, the figure of Briseis loomed large in Achilles' heart. She was no mere captive, but a woman who had touched the depths of his humanity, softening his warrior's heart with affection and tenderness. Her seizure by Agamemnon was not just a political insult, it was a personal betrayal that fractured Achilles' trust and sparked his withdrawal from battle. When Briseis was eventually returned to him, their reunion was bittersweet. Though she professed her love, Achilles, burdened by grief for Patroclus and the looming spectre of his own death, could not fully embrace her again. Their love, once a fragile refuge amidst the horrors of war, had been irrevocably scarred by betrayal and loss. In this tragic intersection of love and duty, Achilles' relationship with Briseis became both a source of pain and a symbol of his lost humanity as he turned once more toward the relentless pursuit of honor and revenge on the battlefield. The slaying of Hector, Achilles' ultimate triumph. With vengeance burning in his veins, Achilles sought out Hector, the defender of Troy and the man responsible for Patroclus' death. Their confrontation was not merely a duel between two warriors, but a clash of legacies and nations. Hector, knowing his fate was sealed, bravely faced Achilles outside the walls of Troy, while his family watched in terror from the ramparts. Achilles, driven by insurmountable rage and grief, overpowered Hector and delivered the fatal blow, fulfilling his vow of vengeance. But the fury within Achilles did not abate. In a moment of ruthless indignity, he tied Hector's lifeless body to his chariot and dragged it around the city walls, a spectacle of desecration that horrified even the gods. Though the act was condemned, it also revealed the depth of Achilles' anguish, a man stripped of all but his pain. This brutal display signified not just the death of a hero, but the complete unraveling of Achilles' humanity, leaving him more myth than man. The shadow of death, Achilles' inevitable fate. Despite his fearsome return and overwhelming victories, Achilles was acutely aware of the prophecy that had long shadowed his life. His mother, Thetis, had warned him that slaying Hector would lead directly to his own death. Yet Achilles, weary of loss and driven by the pursuit of eternal glory, embraced his fate. He continued to fight relentlessly, leading the Greeks in some of their most decisive battles. But each triumph only brought him closer to the inevitable. Achilles' mortality weighed heavily upon him, yet it did not deter his actions, rather it emboldened them. He had made peace with the knowledge that his name would outlive his body. The war that had begun over the love of Helen had become, for Achilles, a personal odyssey, one that fused love, loss, honor, and doom into an inseparable tapestry. In this, Achilles was no longer just a warrior, but a symbol of the tragic hero caught between human vulnerability and godlike ambition. The death of Achilles. A hero. Falls Achilles' death came not in a glorious duel, but in an act of divine and human treachery. Paris, the same prince whose judgment had sparked the war, shot an arrow guided by Apollo himself toward Achilles' only weak point, his heel. Struck down by this seemingly insignificant wound, the greatest of all Greek warriors fell. The news of his death reverberated through the Greek camp, plunging his comrades into mourning. Achilles' body was recovered and given a hero's funeral, with his ashes placed alongside those of Patroclus, forever uniting the two in death as they had been in life. His demise signified more than the loss of a singular warrior. It represented the end of an era, the fading of a once invincible force. Yet Achilles' death also cemented his immortality, for while his flesh succumbed to the arrow, his legend transcended mortality, ensuring that his name and deeds would echo through time, far beyond the ruins of Troy. The legacy of Achilles, immortal through myth. In the centuries that followed, Achilles' story endured as a defining narrative of Western literature and mythology. From the epic verses of Homer's Iliad to the countless adaptations in art, theatre, and modern media, Achilles remains an enduring symbol of martial excellence and tragic destiny. His story is not solely about his prowess in battle, but about the complexities of human emotion, his boundless love for Patroclus. Achilles' life and death remind us of the double-edged nature of glory, that it is often inseparable from suffering and sacrifice. His narrative continues to resonate, offering timeless insights into the nature of heroism, the cost of vengeance, and the inevitability of fate. In every retelling, Achilles rises again, a figure both revered and mourned, eternally immortalized as the greatest warrior of the Trojan War. Keep the legend alive. If you found this retelling of Achilles' saga as riveting as we did, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more epic narratives from history and mythology. Hit the like button if you believe these ancient tales still hold power and meaning today. Share this video with friends who appreciate legendary stories filled with passion, valor, and tragedy. And don't forget to comment below. Who do you think was the most compelling character in the Trojan War? Your thoughts and engagement help us bring even more timeless legends to life. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us as we continue to explore the myths that shaped civilizations and the heroes whose stories refuse to fade.